All right, we've got North Carolina here. We'll start with a statement from head coach Courtney Banghart.
Man, I just am overfilled with pride for this group. If you think about what Carmichael looked like tonight and how many people have wrapped their arms around this team and willed us to wherever we need to be. Carmichael is a great place to host. Our kids earned it, and they showed up for us. I mean, that was one of the better environments that I think anyone's ever played in or for my case, coached in. So it's not a night, that's a night I will remember for a long time, how many people just have wrapped their arms around these guys, and they deserve it. I'll be honest, it's a really good team, as you all know. There's no bad teams in March, unfortunately, but I was tired of hearing about their defense. And not because it's not one of the best defenses in the country, but why was no one talking about our defense? Right? These guys can defend, and they've done it all year long. And we knew exactly how we were going to defend them. And I know those of you who have followed us know that's no surprise how we defended them tonight. So I think us hearing about their defense allowed us to sort of say, okay, we're going to show, and we're going to prove it. These two sitting next to me, I mean, grateful they chose Carolina and how they've represented us. Alyssa, thank you. Thank you for how you've handled your career, how you've worn Carolina on your chest, and who you've brought along with you. I know people are going to be talking about that being your legacy game, and you deserve everything you felt tonight. So it's a joy to coach you. You've made me better. You've allowed me to get better players here as well. And you doing things the right way show that that's enough always. So thanks for choosing Carolina.
We'll take questions for our student athletes, Alyssa Ustby and Indya Nivar.
Jeremiah Holloway with Inside Carolina. Indya, this one's for you. You guys had that run at the end of the third quarter. You kind of closed it out with you had the sequence with you blocked the shot, ran the court, and then you got the layup to end the quarter. Just take me through that sequence a little bit. Like, what do you kind of remember about what you were seeing in that play? And then also, how much did that third quarter run spark you guys for the rest of the game?
Oh, yeah. So I think our preparation prepared us for that moment. We knew they were going to fight back. So we just know we had to match their toughness. That end of the third quarter, we were just staying with our principles. We stayed disciplined, and I was put in a great position to get that block, and then Lexi passed it up for me for the layup. But no, I think as a team we were really focused this game, and we really wanted it for our seniors because we didn't get it done on senior night. So we wanted to end tonight with a win for them.
Debbie Stroman, Chapel Borough, congratulations on the great win. Alyssa, your determination is amazing every game, but tonight I saw it in all the players. So if you all could both speak to what you all said as leaders and captains to be able to get the team so focused tonight.
Yeah, I think Indy kind of talked about it a little bit right there. Losing on senior night is tough, and not knowing if we would for sure be able to secure a hosting spot, that's what's been kind of driving us since that senior night. And we've just had a lot of fire. Like, we are really excited. We love playing with each other, and we want to keep playing. We want to keep the season going, and so there's not anything that's going to stop us. We're going to keep being determined and locking into our game plan and making sure that we can come out with these wins.
Indya?
Yeah, I think this group means a lot to all of us. Like, our connectedness it's a lot on and off the court. I feel like our chemistry is really great, and we just wanted to fight to play again because we love each other, and we wanted to get another opportunity to play another game.
In the back.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. Indya, North Carolina girl, Duke waiting in the next round, in North Carolina State already making their way through as well. Seeing where women's basketball is in this state and being such an integral part of that, how does that feel, and how excited are you for that Sweet 16 game?
Oh, yeah. The Triangle is a hoop state. Like, North Carolina is a hoop state, and I think it just shows with all three schools making it to this next round. But, no, yeah, it's really exciting to be in my hometown. You know, a lot of people get to come to my games, which I didn't have my freshman year. But, yeah, having that support, I think, has really helped me along my journey here.
Down here to the left.
James Moore, the Fayetteville Observer. Alyssa, can you kind of comment back on what Coach Banghart said about your legacy here at Carolina? And also, Indya, can you kind of talk about what Alyssa has done for you and for the team as a whole, just kind of to be a leader for this team?
Yeah, just coming, my decision to come to Carolina, I felt like Coach Banghart stuck her neck out for me because I wasn't in the ESPN Top 100, and I was bringing our class rank down, and she trusted me, and I knew that that would take us a long way, and I would do so much for this program, and I'd run through a brick wall, which I hope I've shown over my career here for 5 years. And I'm just super grateful for her for having that trust in me and continuing to invest in me, challenge me to get better. And then just continuing to recruit great kids. I'm so glad that Indya came back to UNC, and we have so many girls on our team that have made the experience so enjoyable, and they continue to fill me with joy. And this season has been my most enjoyable season because of the people that are here on this team.
Indya, your thoughts on Alyssa?
Oh yeah, I can go on a whole rant about Alyssa, but she embodies the Carolina culture. She sets our standard, and she demands the best out of everybody around her. She makes everybody around her better, and she will be missed. Like, I'm going to miss her so much because even on my down days, Alyssa picks us up because she never has a bad day, which is surprising. But, yeah, that's just her. She's a dog. She always works hard, and it's just an inspiration to everybody on the team.
Michael?
Michael Code, WCHL, chapelboro.com. Alyssa, your freshman year here, there were no fans in the stands. Your last game here, you heard what your head coach said about the environment. Just what did it mean to you, just on your personal journey, to see the arena loud, rowdy, pretty much all night, really supporting you guys toward this win?
It is such a special feeling. And again, like you said, just to see the growth over the years, I think that's just a testament to what Coach Banghart is building here. And I'm just so glad that I was able to be a part of it and to give everything I could to it, to leave it off better than we found it. And we've been doing a great job so far. But I think the community that is here to support us is committed to the players that are on our team. They love our team so much because we have built a relationship with them, and we continue to thank our fans and make that connection. And so it feels like a family environment, and I bet it's a really tough place to play when teams come in here and try to get the smoke with us because, like, we have an incredible fan base, and our players are really fun to cheer for.
Mitch?
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Alyssa, saw you jump up on the scorer's table. When the players all walk off of 4-2, you're the last one sort of waving to the fans and stuff. Can you just kind of walk me through the thoughts and emotions of not only, the excitement of jumping on the table, but then walking off the last time as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to jump on a scorer's table before. And I was like, this is just set up to be the perfect moment, and I have to go for it. Took a little bit of courage because I'm like, should I do it? And I asked my assistant coach, Coach Joe, I was like, should I do it? And she's like, without a doubt, there's no question. And so that was so much fun. I loved it. Again, that was like a reaction or like a chance for me to like hype up the fans and kind of celebrate them too, because they've been a part of my journey for so long and have trusted me as a player to develop over my years, because I didn't come in as a star athlete or a star player. And so they've just trusted me along this journey, and then walking off the court and just giving one last goodbye, taking a good look around, because I know that that's a moment that I'm going to cherish for so long. And I am really sad that that was my last game in Carmichael, but overjoyed at what's ahead.
Last one, Ariel.
Ariel Bynum with Tar Heel Tribune. Indya, their leading score was held to single digits for the first time this season low. What did you and Lexi and Renaya do to hold her down?
All year, we focused on our defense, and we knew our defense was one of the best in the country, and that's because we have everybody on our team takes accountability to stop people on the other team, stop them from their favorite moves and stuff. And it wasn't a one-person job at all. I think we all bought into being in the gaps and helping one another and not having anybody on the island, because it was going to take everybody to defend their really good guards.
Thank you, ladies. Congratulations. Y'all can take your name cards if you want. And questions for Coach Banghart. Mitch?
Yeah, Mitch Northam, SB Nation. Coach, I know sometimes when the brackets come out, you want to just focus on the one game ahead, but it's also human nature to just sort of, hey, this might happen. Now it's here. You're going to play Duke in the Sweet 16. What are the emotions like kind of going into that and setting up such a monumental matchup on a monumental stage?
Yeah. And, you know, how fun if we weren't, because I think these 3 North Carolina schools could go even further, right? And so now, of course, one won't advance. You know, as I told our guys in the locker room just now, is that these moments are so hard. They're hard to get to. I mean, I remember all the hard times, and I'm still living them, right? But like, so it sounds like coach speak, but I told them in the locker room, we're going to enjoy this one, because I just know how I'm wired, and like tomorrow morning, it'll be like I'm right back in my zone. So super cool for this area, super cool for our state. Again, a disappointment that someone's got to lose that game, because the ACC will have one less team advance. But I'll have a lot more thoughts on that as we get closer to the game. Tonight, I'm just, you know, 2 Sweet 16s in 4 years, and this team making it this way and hosting in front of their own home crowd, and people showed up for them both nights. I mean, if I don't take that in, I'm not going to last long in this business.
Down to the right.
Good job, Coach.
Thank you.
Want to talk about the strategy with the point guards.
Yeah.
Your development of 3 point guards, Grant, Townsend, and Kelly, to take on West Virginia.
Yeah.
So could you speak to your trust and development in them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the one position you really can't play basketball without, right? And no offense to any of the other positions, but the person who can handle the ball while also running tempo for a team is critical. And so knowing that we had Renaya, and I've trusted her from the very beginning. I always trust my recruiting, just like Alyssa said. I didn't need ESPN to tell me that she was good enough or wasn't good enough. I watched her with my own 2 eyes, right? And so Renaya, you might remember, she started here as a freshman. I trusted her, right? And then Grace, when she went in the portal, I was the first coach to call her. And you could say all the things that, you know, some people might say, oh, she's too short, or she never played Power 5. Again, trust your eyes. That's a kid I knew could help us. And she plays the game so different than Renaya, right? And so I don't want her to try to be Renaya. I wanted her to be her best self. And so she's a tempo creator, and I thought she's really, throughout the season, settled into that. And then Lainey, you can see how special she's going to be, and needs continue to have time to marinate how she's playing throughout the games. But she gives us a ton of versatility there, and she'll play the one even more differently than the other 2. But I like all the options there, and we'll continue to develop them.
Kate Shoemaker with the Daily Tar Heel. Awesome moment at the end of that game when you guys were coming off the court and all the practice boys were lined up, and you come in there and you're like in the mosh pit in the middle of them, and you invite them into the locker room.
Yeah.
What do they mean to this team, and also how important were they in preparing this team for the press that you guys faced today?
I mean, everything. I mean, they come at 9 a.m. in the morning on Saturdays. I told them I was bummed out that the game might be during the middle of the day, and they were like, well, we'll just miss class. We're not missing it. These are like their sisters, you know, and they're like our brothers. And they've been as much of my journey as my own team has, because they're with me all the time. And I somehow got onto the Fellows group chat, and I'm telling you, they are with this team, whether we're away or home, and I can yell at them if they're not doing what I'm asking them to do. They watch film to know how they're going to have to play. These guys were pressing for the last 2 days, like everywhere on the court, and they just did it. And then sometimes I go to the next thing, and they don't even get water, and we're like, you're fine, keep going. And so, I mean, everyone has scout guys, but I'd put mine up against any in the country.
Down here to the left.
James Moore with the Fayetteville Observer. Coach, you guys fouled out 2 post players, almost a guard, J.J. Quinley. Can you kind of talk about the approach in your toughness and how you approach the post and help them, kind of get out of that situation?
Yeah, Maria does a really good job of that on her own. She drew how many fouls? She drew 5 fouls. And then we actually decided late in the third there, or middle of the third there, to put Alyssa at the 5 because they were not as mobile given their foul trouble. And so you probably saw we run a bunch of ISOs on different spots on the floor so that she could attack hips. And even in that late inbound, we ran the same inbound all 3 times. And all 3 times I just said, attack a hip, attack a hip. And so, when Alyssa can defensively play the 5, it's a real advantage for us on the offensive end. Again, we just needed to attack hips. You can't play a press team. I don't want to break their press and then break their defense, right? And so we wanted to be aggressive all night, and that's different than how we had to play against Oregon State.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. Coach, there was a moment fairly early in the fourth quarter where Alyssa got a block, ran back for a fast break. They called a timeout, and you showed a little more emotion than you usually do on the sidelines. There was a stomp, there was a yell. What was going through your mind at that point? Did you feel like you had it?
Yeah, when my guys are aggressive, they were really hard to beat. And obviously with the time and score and how well we were defending as the league was extended, I just didn't think they were all of a sudden going to score a ton of points on us, right? And how much we love these guys, I wanted it so bad for them, right? And I wanted it so bad for the community that wanted us to host and helped us get there. And so, I think that was real. That feeling was real. I was just so joyed for them. And watching how they came together starting in June, and all of them have their own journeys, and we're right there with them. It was just so rewarding. And so, I try to keep focused on what needs to happen next, but in that moment, I was just overjoyed for them.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
2 quick questions.
Okay.
One, you look like you were shivering. Was it a massive water dumping
Yeah,
that you did
cold
there?
water too. I asked, it's interesting, because on the way to shoot around this morning, someone handed me a water, and it was from an ice tub. And I was like, do you think the population prefers room temperature water or cold temperature? And so we had a big debate about it. And I'm on record that I think people would prefer room temperature water. Well, that's not what got poured on me. It was marinating all day, so I'm freezing.
Okay, and then the last 11 minutes, they had 1 field goal.
Yeah.
Was that the best defensive stretch, considering the competition that you've had all season? And how did you do it?
Yeah, I thought we defended Tanaya Latson really well in the ACC tournament as well. So it's hard to pick from the two. But we knew that we needed to stop her initial attack, chest to the ball. And then we knew she can snake you back. And so your gap is actually sometimes the one that's, as she goes away from you, you got to follow her. So there were some tactical things that our guys just we said no islands, no islands, no islands. And our guys were really shifty, and we really tried to clog up. We wanted to be high at the point of all screens. I mean, we really wanted her to play in a crowd and all night, like we did Latson. And our guys have done a good job of that both times we've asked.
Michael?
Hey there, Courtney. Michael Coe, WCHL, chapelboro.com. You coached against a Mark Kellogg coach team in 2022 with Stephen F. Austin out in Tucson. Mm-hmm. Was there anything tactically or strategically that you took from that game to prepare for this one?
No, just that he's a really good coach and he has really good teams. He actually ran more of a 5-out at SFA. They still pressed a lot, but he had that international kid that was a bear to guard, but more so because she was a stretch shooter and could stretch you out. This team's totally different because they've got some of the more dynamic guards that we've seen. Thankfully, the ACC has prepared us for that, but totally different game plans in those ways. But to go to a Sweet 16, I mean, I was watching games all day, and it's just hard. There's so many good teams. So not a lot of takeaways. Well defended tonight by the team that never got talked about how good our defense was.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation. A year ago today, I was in a press conference with you after a really tough game, after a really tough finish to a season. I was just kind of wondering what you make of sort of the journey in the past year, especially of the players who got through that adverse situation, battled through it, and now you're here and you're hosting, and now you're going to the Sweet 16. There were a lot of players still here that were on the court that day.
For sure.
And just what you make of kind of their perseverance through all that.
Well said, perseverance. When I got with Alyssa after the season, I said, here's the deal. You have to add another layer to your game, and I'm here for you, right? But you have earned the right to make the decisions that are right for you. Don't worry about me, And she right away was like, I want you to help me keep getting better. I said, but I want to make sure that you trust us that we can host in the NCAA tournament. We can do that. And she was like, that's why I'm coming back, right? India's journey, who has a much bigger role this year. Maria had made major strides. Renaya made major strides. It validates the work, right? Because people don't see the 8 a.m. in this gym. I feel like I live in this gym, right? They don't see the 8 to 9, 9 to 10, where you're just working on their own skill set. And sometimes you're just talking to them about hey, where are you in this moment? How are you in this moment, right? And then, of course, you come back in the afternoon and have your team practice. And so it's just so rewarding when their journey turns out that they, as I told them, you deserve it. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it, right? You've got to go earn it. And they were able to earn it in a 40-minute game. It all came down to that.
Last one in the middle.
Lindsay Gibbs with Power Plays. You've wanted to host for so long. How did it compare?
It was even better. Thank you for asking. You know, when I was at Princeton, someone said I'd been to like 13 of the last 18 tournaments. I'm telling you, it's way better when you're hosting, way better. And then, of course, I had wanted it so much that you're like, oh God, what if it's not as awesome as I've hoped for, right? Sort of like when I had told the Carolina team, we've got to get to the NCAA tournament. There's nothing like it, because they hadn't been of that group that I had. And then it was COVID. And I was like, I promise it's usually way better than this, right? And so I was so hopeful that we hosted, and then when we did, I was like, oh my God, imagine if it's not all that we wanted, and it was more. It really was more. I think we've had great crowds here since over the last 2 years or so, maybe even more, 3 years. This one felt different, as did whatever night the last game was. It just felt different, and maybe that's me, or maybe it's that recognizing that people, they willed us here, we got here, and then they showed up again, and they were loud, and they wanted it as much as our guys did. So it was even better than I could have hoped for.
Room temperature water.
Yeah, room temperature water. You do cold water? You just gave me your room temperature water.
They come from the fridge. It wasn't by choice.
Guys, room temperature water, let's do a straw poll. Or ice water, room temperature. Yeah,
Psychopaths.
it's a lot of people.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Put it on a t-shirt.